Hey guys, so I know it's been a couple of days and it might be a couple of more days after I upload this video because out of nowhere we have some family staying with us, so yeah, it's gonna be really hard for me to like get the time. If I get the time to do other things, I will, like I always say, but for now, I can't promise anything too soon after this video, okay? Within the next few days or so. It's going to be hard for me to do uploads every single day. So, anyway, I found this article yesterday, and as you can see, it says new study reveals racial disparities and fear of police brutality. Now, this is kind of like, I don't know if I want to say it's like common, I guess it's kind of common sense for people, black or Latin people, when it comes to like our views with regards to police, law enforcement, whatever, corrections officers and whatnot, all of the above, and how, for the most part, I'm saying we, I'm not necessarily speaking for myself, but a lot of us do have certain views with when it comes to law enforcement, and rightfully so. But this article kind of like breaks down percentages and whatnot, and they kind of did like a study. They basically asked a bunch of different people from these different groups certain questions about crimes and whatnot, and how they felt about certain law enforcement and whatnot. And just the fact that they kind of gave you like numbers is, I just thought it was interesting, and I thought it would kind of go along with a lot of the things that I've been talking about. So, a recently published nationwide study by two University of South Florida professors indicates that blacks are 5 times more likely and Latinos 4 times more likely to fear police brutality than whites. Criminology instructor Murat Hainer and Melissa Sloan, associate professor of sociology, report in Race and Worrying About Police Brutality, the Hidden Injuries of Minority Status in America, that while only 6.6% of whites worry a lot about police violence, some minorities experience much greater fear, with 32.4% of blacks and 26.5% of Latinos reporting they worry a lot about becoming victims of police violence. And I would say that that's true for most of the people, that I've met in my life. Conversely, 3/4 of whites do not worry about officer violence, while only 1/3 of minority respondents do not worry at all about police brutality. Hainer and Sloan, researchers at USF's Sarasota Manatee campus, conducted the study with 4 other professors over 3 months in 2018. The article was published online on May 26 in the journal Victims and Offenders, an international journal of evidence-based research, policy, and practice. Blacks and Hispanics live with these worries that whites really have no concept of, Sloan said, summing up. Given the long history of racial discrimination in the United States, this divide likely has been occurring for a long time across generations. The study is based on a national survey of 1,000 respondents to measure fear by how much the study's participants worry about experiencing police violence. Participants were asked how much they worry about 6 potential areas of concern: experiencing police brutality, becoming the victim of a racial/hate crime, becoming the victim of a violent crime, someone breaking into your house when you are home, a mass shooting at some event or at work, school, becoming the victim of a terrorist attack. The goal of asking about these other worries was to determine if racial/ethnic differences were unique to the worry of police brutality or found within the other examples of victimization, and if so, to what extent. Also collaborating in the study, in addition to Hainer and Sloan, were researchers from Georgia Southern University, the University of Cincinnati, Xavier University, and the University of Nebraska at Omaha. Previous studies have examined fear of police generally, but this is the first study to specifically examine the fear of police brutality. Further, the study includes a representative proportion of Latino respondents, a subgroup of U.S. population often omitted from the area of research. I found that very interesting. A subgroup of the U.S. population often omitted from the area of research. I found that, and it also kind of brought me back to like the videos I've done in the past with regards to Latinos identifying as white. And for some reason, when I read that, it brought me back to, when I read this, it brought me back to those studies that I did, that research that I did with regards to different things. And just basically how, we're underrepresented, how we're really not accounted for, and how just we're overlooked as a group. Anyway, in addition to considering racial differences as related to police violence, the study suggests that for blacks as well as Hispanics to an extent, worrying about police brutality exacts an emotional toll that is pervasive and largely hidden from view. This emotional burden is hazardous because research shows excessive worry leads to psychological and physical health consequences as well as behavioral changes. Research on the fear of crime shows that worries like these can lead to avoidance behaviors, where people restrict normal activities and social interaction out of fear, which can lead to feelings of isolation and lower quality of life, Sloan said. More concerning is that this worry is justified, as demonstrated by the killing of George Floyd, as well as the numerous other Black Americans who have been brutalized and killed by police in the past. The extent of this worry among blacks suggests that these consequences may affect entire communities, not only individuals in contact with police and the criminal justice system. Taken as a whole, what remains is an insidious picture in which communities worry about those they are supposed to trust during their greatest time of need, Hayner said. There is a substantial subpopulation in America that worries about being victimized, not by some perpetrator, but by the state, the very people who are sworn to protect and serve them. To provide further context, the researchers analyzed responses about worries across the 5 other victimization scenarios, which are listed above. Worries about becoming the victim of a violent crime or a mass shooting appeared homogeneous, with Black and Latino respondents worrying no more or less than white respondents. However, it appeared that younger Americans worry more than older Americans about both of these events. Uniquely, Latino respondents worry more than white respondents about someone breaking into their house when they were present. Black respondents, on the other hand, did not worry about this crime any differently than white respondents. Finally, Black and Latino respondents worry significantly more than white respondents about being victims of a racial or hate crime or being victims of a terrorist attack. This line here, this is so true. Latino respondents worry more than white respondents about someone breaking into their house when they were present. And I shouldn't laugh, but I heard stuff like this my whole life from my dad all the time, even my mom. And I think that's because, I can't speak for like all other Latin groups. I speak from, I always tend to speak from like my parents' experiences, my grandparents' experiences, and being in the States for a very long time. And they have told me stories about people breaking into family members' apartments, breaking into the buildings, stealing shit. So when I saw that, it's not that I find it funny, but at the same time, when I saw that that they worry more than whites about someone breaking into their house, I did kind of laugh a little, because I thought of my parents, I thought of my grandparents telling these stories of when they knew of people whose places got broken into. I'm trying to remember if somebody within I don't think anybody within my immediate, I don't think that happened to either one of my parents, but I feel like it might have happened to my grandparents or like aunts and uncles. So, I think that because of that, there's that fear there. And I know, I'm sorry I'm laughing, but sometimes I gotta laugh at our people. We do funny things. But, there's a reason, right? There's always a reason to the madness. And I think that because of that, it kind of stays with them, because even now with my parents being as old as they are, they still have those fears. So like my mom will tell me certain things about having fears of somebody breaking into her new house. My mother doesn't even live in this state, but she still has those fears, and my father is still like that. So it's I know I'm kind of going off into something else, but anyway, hopefully at least people listening to this are laughing at me laughing. Because I think we all need a good laugh. Anyway, I think I'm gonna go for now. Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna see what I can do about sorry, getting other videos up within the next few days. And if I can't, I apologize. But yeah, I thought this was interesting, so I thought I would share it. Anyhow, I'm gonna go before I start cracking up again, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.